And good morning at 7:03 on this Tuesday, November 3rd. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. It is a Tuesday morning, and we're happy to have you here. Almost a carbon copy of yesterday. The frost is on the pumpkin. There's any pumpkins out there. The sun is going to be shining. It's going to be a great day. Glad to have you with us, and glad to be on the air for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Tracy Pope is here. Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Now, I think we ought to tell everybody about our new seating arrangement here. Well, Susie believes in social distancing and maybe believes in it even more because we're farther apart. There's a table in front of each one of us, in front of the round table that we've had here always before. And so you're farther from me, and our guest is other guest is farther from me, who we'll introduce momentarily. But
absolutely, and your yardstick definitely tells us that we are distanced and, being as safe as possible.
All right. Tracy, of course, is Director of Community Relations for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and we got a very special person here this morning. I'll let you introduce her. But,
absolutely.
She's special in a way to me, which we'll get into later. But
okay. So as you know, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital became part of the Vanderbilt system a little over a year ago, and we have a guest from the Vanderbilt Eye Institute of Lebanon. And Vanderbilt Eye has been established in Wilson County for many years, and so we're excited to be part of the whole Vanderbilt health system, and now they are doing surgeries at our hospital, and we're very excited about that.
Well, introduce her.
Yeah, so our guest is Dr. Jessica Mather, and she's one of the physicians with Vanderbilt Eye Institute Lebanon, and she's here to tell us all about her practice and a little bit about our eyes.
Dr. Jessica Mather, good morning. Welcome to our program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's really nice to have you here, and I'm going to say that after you fixed my eyes a few months ago, I suggested to Tracy, why don't we have her out? And finally, you are here, and I couldn't be more pleased. And we'll get started here as we usually do. Tell us about yourself. I understand you grew up right here in Wilson County.
I do. I'm a local girl. I guess Jessica Littman's how I was known around here. And I love this community. And I went away for all my training. So I had to spend about 12 years kind of down in Florida, Washington, D.C., and East Tennessee. And then when I started looking for a job, those family connections and the local community, I knew some of the doctors, Dr. Randy Evans and Dr. Bill Schenk around here. And they helped me in finding the jobs. I've been here about 5 years. And
all right, you're jumping ahead an awful lot, though. I want to know, at what point in your life did you decide to think that this is what you want to do?
Well, I think it goes back. I have a lot of medicine in my family. So I come from a long line of doctors. Both my grandmother and my grandfather were physicians. My father is a physician in town, and I kind of had a rebellious attitude, though. I wanted to be something completely different. I started pre-law initially. And then I think sometime in my freshman year of college, I kind of realized that was not for me, and that I've just been denying what I truly wanted to do, which was to be a doctor. And it took me longer to figure out it was eyes that I wanted to focus on. That took some time. But once I was in medical school and I realized I really wanted to focus on one area of the body, because that was my personality. I like to specialize and focus on one area, and then started working in ophthalmology and realized what you could do for a person and how much you can impact a person's life by helping them see better. And
all right, I'm going to back up again. Where'd you go to elementary school?
Friendship Christian.
Okay, and after that, high school?
First grade through 12th grade at Friendship.
And then where'd you go to college then?
Florida State.
Okay, all right. You left Tennessee.
I did.
Any particular reason you chose Florida State?
MJ
would have loved for you to have chosen Florida. I mean,
oh no,
she's a Gator through and through.
God has a plan. I don't really know what drew me there at the time. I just knew I wanted to kind of experience something different. Going to a small school my whole life, I loved Friendship, but I wanted to experience bigger and kind of go out. And I think Florida State was about the furthest my parents would let me go. And still be able to drive there. And it was close to the beaches. I was always very studious, and this was a way to kind of get me a little bit more well-balanced, I felt.
Okay. So, and after Florida State?
I went to medical school at East Tennessee State in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Okay. And then after that, I mean, keep going.
I did residency at Georgetown and Washington, D.C.
And then
And then after that, I got my job here in Lebanon, and I've been here since.
Okay. So what is your practice all about?
So I do comprehensive ophthalmology, which basically means I can, do everything from just kind of seeing you, giving a general health screening and glasses to doing glaucoma management, cataract surgery. I tend to do mainly adults because we do have a pediatric side, so I don't see very many children, but adults of all ages and surgery as well.
Well, I think before we went on the air, you were mentioning some doctors maybe you associated with here helped you get going. Mm-hmm. Dr. Schenck being one of them.
Dr. Schenck and Dr. Evans both had been in this community for, 25, 30 years, very well respected, well known, and have been great mentors for when I started 5 years ago. And they actually have both retired in the past year. So they have moved on, and now we found some new great doctors, but we definitely miss them.
And where are you located?
We're located at 1670 West Main Street, best known as the same parking lot as Taco Bell.
Yeah. And you do now, you do a lot of surgeries and all, I guess, at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital.
Yes, going there right after this. So we do surgery. I do surgery there weekly. I do want to mention I also go to Smithville in Carthage as well. So I spend a couple days a month there, and I actually operate in Smithville as well, too.
Well, I've got to tell a little bit about my experience because I got where I couldn't see well, and it got worse, and I found out for sure I had cataracts, and my left eye is the one you did first. And we had to do that in Smithville because Vanderbilt took over here. Tracy, how long ago has it been?
It's been a little over a year ago.
And it took a little while to get everything going. And this was just right before COVID hit. I think the last day they did this kind of surgery, even in Smithville, that I got my left eye done. And then it was in July when you did the right one over at Vanderbilt. But they're both good, and I recommend you, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
But there's our eyes are so important. I mean, I have such sympathy and empathy and all for somebody that's blind that can't see. And I have a friend that pretty close to who's that way. And you if you don't have your eyes, you certainly appreciate them. And if you start to lose some sight, you appreciate what you've lost, and you want it back if you can get it. And I guess I'm just saying I'm very thankful to be able to see better, and you're a big part of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Now, but you deal with a lot more than just cataract surgery, right?
Right. Yeah. So
tell us about it.
Sure. So some of the things that we really we find important are looking for things like glaucoma, macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy. These are things that can cause blindness and cause someone to have severe vision impairment. So one of the things that I do is I'll treat that and any emergencies that come up. But those are a lot of the things that my practice is made up of.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about cataracts and move on. We'll get to a break here in a moment. But what is cataract?
So cataracts are just natural changes that occur in our lens. So we all develop cataracts. When I first tell a patient they have cataracts, they usually look at me kind of scared or frightened. And I tell them, no, everybody gets them. You'll start to get a little of it around age 40. So the natural lens you're born with just gets a little cloudier. And at some point in our life, if it gets really cloudy to where you can't see through it, affects your vision, then we can fix that with surgery. So it can be at any age, but I think 60s and 70s is when a lot of people start to have symptoms.
What exactly is entailed here? All I know is you come in and you have a little anesthesia. It doesn't hurt, and you see all kind of crazy lights or something. In about 30 minutes, it's over.
Right.
What all is done?
So cataract surgery cannot be done by laser alone. I have a lot of patients ask that. We can't just zap it out right now. We actually have to go in. You can use a laser for parts of it, but in the cataract surgery, we have to take the lens and open up I tell people it's like the size of an M&M. You have to open up the candy coating, go inside and remove the cataract. You can equivalent that to the chocolate. take all that out, clear it out, but still leave that bag that held the cataract so we can put a new clear lens in. So one of the best advantages of cataract surgery is that we can sometimes take what's in your glasses that you may have been in your whole life and put that in a new artificial lens so that you may not need glasses anymore.
Some, I guess, are more difficult, detailed than others. Some fairly simple.
Yeah, there's, depending on the type of cataract and the eye, each eye is different. That's what I love my job about. It's a challenge every time because everyone will respond differently. Some cataracts are small, some big. There's a huge range that there will be, but they can affect people in different ways.
Most of the time, real big majority of the time, cataract surgery very successful.
Absolutely, yeah. I say about 1 in 1,000 chance that something can happen to you during surgery. There could be that could cause permanent vision loss. Yeah. 1 in 100 that you may have, not the smoothest ride after, like you could get an infection, things like that. But it's considered by some to be the most successful surgery that is offered.
Yeah. Well, that's just one of many things that you do. And we'll talk about more. We're going to get into glaucoma after we go to a break here. My guest is Dr. Jessica Mather, Vanderbilt Eye Institute, Lebanon. And Tracy Pope is here, Director of Community Relations for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. And this is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And to 7:14, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup, up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation, and safety check. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $49.95. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Sure, we've seen a couple of accidents out here in the last 10, 15 minutes, including that one being cleared. 1900 Murfreesboro, Pike South, Nashville. Traffic's on the increase now through Mount Juliet. All that traffic flow on 40 westbound. It comes out of Wilson County this time of the morning into Davidson County. Hey, to cater your next holiday party coming up, call Princess Hot Chicken or simply go online to princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
This is Ward 2 Lebanon City Council member Fred Burton. As a lifelong resident of Lebanon and a veteran of the U.S. Army, I bring a unique perspective to the City Council. I have worked to reduce utility bills by 25% during 2 extreme cold winters, worked to improve street lights in my ward, and I co-sponsored the new Legends Drive entrance near I-40. You and I together are making a better Ward 2, and I ask for your vote November 3rd. Paid for by the committee to elect Fred Burton.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
The 2020 Titans have all grown up together. They've had a taste of success in the playoffs, and they're back with Derrick Henry.
Henry 20, Henry 10.
Ryan Tannehill at quarterback.
Tannehill keeping around right end, driving, he's in.
A stout defense.
Titan ball.
And a head coach in Mike Vrabel who's ready to lead them.
Brought to you by Steve-Lo Plumbing and the Jewelers.
LHS, Cumberland University, and the Tennessee Titans. The winning teams are on WANT 98.9.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and we just turned our way today. Today we have a medical professional and Tracy Pope, of course, Director of Community Relations at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Takes care of that a couple of times a month. And Dr. Jessica Mather is here today, Vanderbilt Eye Institute, Lebanon. But we didn't, Dr. Mather, Jessica, we did not talk about your family or anything. You went to Friendship and into Florida State and so on. But you're married, have children, I understand.
I do, yes. They're the light of my life, the kids are, and they're also my full-time job. I work on the side, so.
Yeah. Tell us about your children.
I have a little girl, Ava, she's 4, and then a little boy, Wesley, he's 2.5.
Oh, well, that's great. Now, I mentioned before we went to the break, we talked about glaucoma, which is something I guess most of us heard about pretty much all our lives. Been around for a long time. What is glaucoma?
So I find glaucoma is difficult for patients to really understand. It is an eye disease that can cause damage to your optic nerve. What's scary about it is you often don't have symptoms until it's too late because you can lose peripheral vision that can encroach. And until you start to have center vision loss, people have no pain. They don't know they're losing any vision. And it can cause complete blindness, and it's irreversible. So the key in that is catching it early and prevention.
What are the symptoms?
The thing is, most people don't have symptoms when they're initially, and that's what's tricky about it, is because you'll start to lose gradually pieces of your peripheral vision. The way that, and they won't know it because with both eyes open, you don't have vision loss. You're able to fill in those areas, and it's such a slow process often. You don't realize your peripheral vision is coming in. It's not something that happens overnight. The only way we can pick it up is by a comprehensive eye exam where we check your pressure, we look inside at your eyes that are dilated, and we look at your optic nerve. And if it's concerning, we can pursue that with further testing. But if we catch it early, we can put you on eye drops typically, and we monitor it, and then we can prevent any vision loss at all.
Well, it seems like it's like a lot of things. Early prevention is the key. Mm-hmm. But if you don't catch it early, then you really have some problems. Don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk about macular degeneration. What is that?
So this is also an eye disease that affects a different part of your eye called the retina. So this disease you will have symptoms on earlier on often. It affects it calls macular degeneration because it affects your macula, which is the very center part of your vision. So people can have central vision distortion, may have trouble reading. Those are typically the first symptoms, but usually we can detect it in the office first, which is key because we can put you on certain vitamins to help slow down the progression.
Is there surgery for it?
There is no surgery for macular degeneration. However, there are treatments available now. In the last few decades, they've come out with treatments for the more advanced forms of it. And it consists not of surgery, but of injections of medicine inside the eye to slow it down.
Well, is any group of people or who is more at risk of macular degeneration?
Number one risk factor is age. So as you get older, those are the people that will get this light-colored skin, so Caucasians are more likely to get this disease, although it can be in any race. And family history. If you have a family history of it, then you are more likely to get it.
Well, another thing we might discuss for a moment here, retinal tears and detachments. You deal with that too, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are some of the most common emergencies we'll see on a weekend or just in the middle of the day. These tend to come on very symptomatically, and so people will call us very worried because they'll start getting typically flashes of light like a camera flash, or they may have what we call floaters. They look like either spider webs or dots in their vision. Those typically will present first, and if it's not caught early, then it can progress to something called a detachment, in which you may have peripheral vision loss, or you could even lose all your vision if not treated in time.
As far as floaters go, I hear a lot of people. In fact, I think I've had some myself. Wasn't sure what they were at one time. But is that something to really be concerned about?
Well, not all floaters are bad, and most people will get some floaters at some point in their life. I tell you, usually in your 60s, you may have some. All they are, it's the jelly in the back of the eye called the vitreous. And so I tell people, just like everyone gets a little looser with time, your skin gets looser, so does the jelly in the back of your eye, and it'll actually come off the back of the retina and float around, and you can see those little floaters. But the problem is when this first occurs, if it tugs too hard, it can take a piece of retina with it, and that's when it can cause a tear. So any new symptoms of flashes or floaters for the first time should be evaluated, because it's usually in the first month that you would have a tear that would need to be treated right away.
All right, let's talk about how does someone get to you? Are they usually referred maybe by an optometrist or something, or?
Different ways. You can call our office directly to set up an appointment with us. You don't have to have a referral. You can come. The primary care doctors refer us a lot as well for like diabetic eye exams or just for decrease in vision. And then optometrists can refer us when they see something that needs surgical care like cataracts. But I would say kind of across the board, some are self-referral, some are referred by friends, so you can either way.
Well, you have quite a staff there on West Main. How many people work with you there?
Oh, I wish I had a big number. What our office does have, which is nice, is we have our full-time staff that's there, and technicians and managers and probably 50 plus that are there full-time. And we also have doctors that come in from Nashville, some specialists that are excellent, that aren't there all the time, but they still provide some other services as well.
Well, what's a typical day? Do you do surgery nearly every day?
Not every day. So at least once a week I'll operate, sometimes twice. This week it's twice a week. I was yesterday in Smithville and today in Lebanon. So usually 2 days a week. I'll be 1 to 2 days a week. I'll be operating, mainly clinical work. And then I'll usually either go to Carthage or Smithville at least one day.
And when you're not operating, what do you do? You go to the office, I take it. I mean, you work.
Busy days at the office, seeing lots of eyes, sometimes lasers in the office.
Do you have to? You have some. I guess you have pictures or something. You do an exam. You have a lot of information there. You spend a lot of time digesting all this information, really looking at somebody's eyes to know exactly what's wrong, what they need, this kind of thing.
Well, I thought it actually can be done pretty relatively quickly because you can see. What I love about ophthalmology is I get to see it and diagnose it right away. So
Really?
There's nothing hidden back. Sometimes there'll be kind of a question of why do you have something, but it's not like a primary care doctor who has to do a lot of lab work and figure out, really do investigation. If the patient's having a problem, I should be able to see what the reason is.
Oh, well, you like that then.
I do. Yeah, I like to be able to fix things, and I feel like we can do that in ophthalmology.
Oh, here's something else we might talk about, diabetic retinopathy. I think I pronounced that right.
Right, yeah.
Diabetic retinopathy. What is that?
So all patients who have diabetes, of course, if their sugars are uncontrolled, it can affect the entire body. One of the unique things about the eyes is that it's the only place in the whole body where we can directly look at blood vessels. And so when I look at your retina, I can see your blood vessels directly, which can give us an indication of how blood vessels in the rest of your body are. So if your blood vessels in your eye look healthy, that's good news. It means there's probably healthy blood vessels running through your heart. If I see a lot of damage to your eyes, then we can say there probably is damage in other parts of your body. So diabetic retinopathy is when you have damage to your retina, to the blood vessels, which can cause you to lose vision. So it can cause blindness if untreated.
One other thing here, conjunctivitis. I believe that's, is that right?
Conjunctivitis, right.
What is that?
So in layman's term, it's pink eye. So conjunctivitis is the term that's really just going to say inflammation of the white part of the eye. So anytime a patient has pink eyes, there can be or conjunctivitis. There's a lot of causes. Most commonly, people think of like a viral conjunctivitis, pink eye, but it can be from infection like a bacteria. It can be from allergy was a common cause. So there's different reasons that you can have it, but that's all it really is.
All right. One last thing here, low vision. What is low vision, its causes and treatments?
So we've talked a lot about several different eye conditions like macular degeneration, glaucoma. Some of these conditions can cause permanent vision loss, unfortunately. We can do some things to prevent it, but at some level, when your vision is poor and we can't do anything more medically or surgically, we call it low vision. And at that state, we have low vision specialists who can give you the correct aids to, even though you may not have perfect vision, it's not all hope is lost. We still have a lot of things we can do to get you to see better and visual aids and things like that to basically maximize the vision you do have.
I want to ask this. When we're young and we see well, we take it for granted pretty much. Is there something you should do in those years? Is it good to have an eye exam periodically, maybe once a year or something? What do you recommend on that?
I do. I think especially depending on your family history. So if you have a family history, if you don't know your family history, you need to ask. But if any of those conditions like glaucoma or macular degeneration run in your family, then you need to get a good baseline eye exam early on, at least in your 20s or 30s, so you can have it. And depending on what they find at that time, they'll tell you when you should follow up. But at least if you have no family eye disease and you see well, don't need glasses, at least by age 40, get a baseline eye exam so that we can see if you have any risk factors for any problems.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes left here. I just nearly know this is very rewarding for you to help people either improve or keep on being able to see. That's kind of what you're all about. It's got to be good when somebody says, "Hey, you fixed my cataracts," or you helped me with my glaucoma or whatever.
Yes, there are no words. It's extremely humbling to be able to be in this position, and I try not to ever take that for granted, the amount of trust that someone places in you to help them see better. So it's a very rewarding job, and I'm just thankful I have this opportunity.
Well, we're really happy to have had you here today. And Tracy, we always let you have the last word. Got a minute left here, but thanks for inviting Dr. Jessica Mather today.
I'm very excited. I learned a lot. Like I said, I've not been as familiar with the Vanderbilt Eye Institute, so this was a great program. And if anyone is interested, like she said, her location is 1670 West Main Street, Suite 100. It's in the same parking lot with Taco Bell. But you can always go to our website, VanderbiltWilsonCountyHospital.com, and there's more information on all Vanderbilt associated Wilson County locations.
All right. Well, I think another great program today. And again, Dr. Mather, thanks for taking time to be here. Now you're going to go do surgery and make somebody else's eyes better. We're glad to know that. And just a reminder before we go to our break here, we will have live election coverage tonight starting at 7 o'clock. Judge Barry Tatum will be here. I'll be here. MJ will be here. Billy will be here. And I don't know who all else, but we hope you'll tune our way tonight starting at 7 for that. And stay tuned for part 2 of Coleman and Company coming up here on FM 98.9.
And at 7:29, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota and Rental, Lamprey, quality tractor implements, including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well built. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's really picked up in the last few minutes here on Briley Parkway, coming around County Hospital Road. Crash been cleared in the 1900 block of Murfreesboro Pike. Traffic volume on the increase, right on schedule. Actually, 40 west coming out of Wilson County through Mount Juliet right now into Hermitage. Sleep with the Sharks in a grown-up atmosphere at Ripley's Aquarium in the Smokies, December 26th through the 27th. Check it out, Ripley'sAquarium.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Coleman Walker inviting you to join Judge Barry Tatum and me for live election coverage starting when the polls close at 7 p.m. on November 3rd. It's brought to you by A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, Burdine Supply, Designer Carpets, Partlow Funeral Chapel, Howell & Meadows Insurance, Steve Mull Plumbing, and the Wilson Post. Join us for live election coverage November 3rd starting at 7 p.m. on WANT FM 98.9 and WCOR AM 1490.
What would you like to see changed in Ward 2? Has anyone ever asked you? I'm Lisa Noble, and I'm ready to get to work for you. We all have ideas and things we would like to change, but until we work together as a community, no one will listen. We've had the same representation in Ward 2 for years, so if your voice hasn't been heard or you've seen no changes, you need to make the change this election. So when you go to the polls, vote Lisa Noble for someone you can have access to and who will work with you to bring some of our ideas to life on the east side of Lebanon.
This ad was paid for by Committee to Elect Lisa Noble, A. Tyler Whitaker, Treasurer.
It's going to be a beautiful day to get out and vote. Highs this afternoon will top out in the mid-60s with bright sunny skies. For your Wednesday, temperatures will climb into the upper 60s with plenty of sunshine. The weather's going to be very pleasant on Thursday with highs in the 70s and mostly sunny skies. We keep the nice weather around for the weekend as well. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. Let's look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman Company, welcome to part 2. It is a Tuesday morning. Let's talk about Hardside Senior Living. Sean Dozier's here. He's the executive director. He comes each Tuesday to tell us about this wonderful place at 215 Castle Heights Avenue North here in Lebanon, Tennessee. Good morning.
I feel so far away from you, Coleman.
It's a little different this morning.
A little different this morning, huh? I guess.
Well, if we were on television, people would understand, but that's okay. We're just a little bit farther apart.
Yeah.
I can hear you fine.
Good. Well, it's good to be here, and it's always good to talk about Harshside and our wonderful community. You know, we call it Harshside Senior Living because it truly is a senior living community. Right there in the heart of Lebanon, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North, we have our assisted living, which is, you know, just been a great tradition over the years since 1994, served served a lot of people over the years, Coleman.
Do you have any idea? You'd have to pull.
I'd have to pull the records, yeah.
And I don't know.
I don't know how many people we've actually served, but it's a lot of people.
Well, in '94, computers were just getting started.
Right.
They're kind of in their infancy, and so the stuff that you could find out quickly now, you probably can't find out for those years.
Yeah,
we've heard
it's just been a great tradition, and still going strong. We've got a couple rooms that are available, so if you're interested in assisted living, we all often talk about assisted living. It's just help with your your activities of daily living. It's maybe helping. You need a little help getting dressed in the mornings, or you need a little help bathing, or you might need a little help with your medication. Making sure you get your medication on time. We have 3 meals a day, snacks. We do housekeeping and laundry. So it's for people who just think, maybe my family member just needs a little extra assistance right now in their life, in this season of their life. So we're available, and we have 2 or 3 rooms that are available. So you can call us. We can give you a virtual tour or a kind of a scaled down tour. But many people have been in Harshside. They know how nice it is and how great customer service that we have. So I just encourage people to give us a call.
You really have a community of people there who really become friends and interact. It's not just like going. I mean, it's a home away from home. I guess.
Really is. It's a home away from home, and now that of course we're COVID free, so obviously we can have visitors and porch visits, and we can also. When it's cool outside, we have a living room area that's kind of sectioned off where we can stay 6 feet apart with our mask, and we also have take your temperature and all that good stuff. So, back in April and June, we were totally shut down. Mm-hmm. So now, because we are COVID free at this time, we can do a little more. So that's good for our residents. It's good for our staff. It's good for the families. You don't feel like they're so buttoned off from their family members now. So I'm just thrilled about that. And
hey, I got to ask you.
Yeah. I'm glad you have a question.
Today's election day.
Yeah.
But is there a lot of political dialogue, conversations that goes on prior to an election there at Harshside? I just wonder.
Well, everybody has an opinion, Coleman. Particularly if you're 80 or 90 years old, you have an opinion. You're either going to vote for Bernie, or you're going to vote for Rick, or you're going to vote for whoever else. You have an opinion. You're going to vote for Trump. You're going to vote for Biden. You got an opinion. They all have an opinion. So
do they express it freely?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I just wondered. Okay.
Yeah. No, they have an opinion, and they keep up with it. They do. They keep up with it. I mean, when you've lived that long, you're pretty set in your ways,
And you've seen a lot of presidents.
You've seen a lot of presidents. You've seen a lot of things come and go.
A lot of mayors, too. Well,
you're getting me off track, Coleman.
Well, okay. You want to say anything about your retirement community this morning?
Well, the retirement community is going great. We've got 30 beautiful homes and 2 and 3 bedroom homes, and I'm just so proud of the community down there. And we did sell one recently, and we have a wonderful couple moving in this month. We're actually painting it this week for them. That's what we do. The person moves out, we go in and paint it, fix everything, get it ready for them. So they'll be moving in a couple of weeks, and they're excited.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and they don't, you've got 30 there, and as long as they're filled, you just have a waiting list. And but different circumstances pertain there. But, some people will live there, finish their lives there. Others will move away for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen every day.
Well, no, this lady, she lost her husband, so she's going to move back to North Carolina to be closer to her family. So sometimes that happens, and she had a great experience at Harshside, but she just needs to be closer to family. And so this couple was grateful when I called, and they said, let me have it. Let me bring you a check. So we sold it immediately.
All right. And we're waiting for them $3 meals.
And those $3 meals. Actually, they did mention that, Coleman. They did.
All right. It is time for a Harshside hello.
Harshside hello. Bubba Bland. Some people know him as Robert Bland, but I call him Bubba Bland. I saw him the other day. So Harshside hello to my good racetrack friend, Bubba Bland.
I hope he's doing okay.
He's doing great.
Good. All right. Well, I guess that's where we usually
where we end it. Have a great day, and get out and vote.
And election night,
See
will
you.
be here.
I'll see you tonight.
All right. Okay. All right. Sean Dozier, Executive Director, Hearthside Senior Living, Retirement and Assisted Living Community, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North, right here in Lebanon. We are 22 before the hour. Lebanon Mayor Bernie Ash joins us now, and he is here. And as I have said, when they're paying for it, he's paying for this time this morning. This is Election Day, and Bernie's here to get you to go out and vote for him today for mayor. Bernie, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Did I say that okay?
You said that very well.
Well, you've been sitting over here just laughing at me and Sean. Oh, you seem you got a big smile this morning.
I do. This race has been very interesting. It's been a very friendly race, and I've gotten to know all of my opponents better, and the people who work and help them. I don't know if you've driven by the election commission where everybody was standing out there waving and having a good time. And my wife got to know Rick's wife a little better than some of the others. And one day it was raining. Rick and I were sitting in the back of his SUV, and people were looking at us kind of surprised that we would sit together. But I've known Rick a long time, and we get along very well.
Well, today, of course, is Election Day. One of the things that I've heard, and actually Billy and I kind of put the numbers to it the other day, counting the registered voters, and then how many of those had voted early, and I think it was 65%, which means you got 35% who can vote today. But
that's right.
It ain't over till it's over, as they say.
That's exactly right. It's been a historic turnout all across the country, and that includes here in Wilson County. And that's fantastic that so many people turn out. And you wonder why they're all turning out. I think the presidential race, of course, is the driving force. Either love one candidate and hate another one, or whatever. But whatever it is, it has brought people out to vote.
Well, I'll have to say, I've not seen I haven't seen any really animosity here. Like there's a lot. Nationally,
oh, yeah.
we all know that. But aside, I think we've pretty much stayed on the issues here.
We
It's
have.
not been character assassination. Right. We've talked about the problems and solutions and this sort of thing, and which I think is the way it ought to be.
I absolutely agree with you. We have, of course, 4 people in the mayor's race, and I think all 4 of us want to do what's best for Lebanon. We may have some different ideas on how to do that, and to my advantage, I have a little more experience than the others do, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But it's been a good race. It's been a good, clean race, and as you said, no character assassinations. We're all neighbors and live together, and when this is over with, we're still going to have to live together. So it's been a good race so far.
Well, you've mentioned your experience here, and you have 4 years under your belt as mayor, and I think you feel pretty good about some things that you have done the last 4 years.
I do. Excuse me. And one thing I need to point out is I've had 4 years under fire with the tornado and COVID. We've dealt with that, and I think we've done a pretty reasonable job with it. On March the 3rd, of course, the tornado came through and did a lot of damage and displaced a lot of people here in Lebanon. And I know I was up like most everybody else with the tornado about 1 o'clock in the morning, and went down to the police station, to the command center. When I got there, of course, the police department, fire department, the dispatchers, even Public Works was out and about taking care of people. We got roads cleared as quickly as possible and started cleaning up as quickly as we could when the tornado was over. At one point, we had 4,000 volunteers from across the country here at our police department. We were loading them up on school buses and taking them out to clean up people's property, and these people did a wonderful job. And it's not just from around the country, but here in Lebanon too. Everybody grabbed a chainsaw or a rake or something and went out and helped their neighbors get things picked up.
For those people who have waited today to vote, what is your primary message to them in your campaign to be reelected mayor?
Okay. My primary message, I think, is going to be the experience and the job that I've done in the last 4 years. I think if you look back 20 years plus that I've been in public service, you can see a conservative record. I have fought, we know about the tax increase recently, but I have fought tax increases most of my life on the county commission and on the council. This past tax increase, I want to talk a little bit about that because it has been brought out. I hate tax increases as much as anybody else. I have to pay them too. Going back in the history of the property tax in Lebanon, in 1992, the tax rate was 78 cents. For 20 years, there was not a single tax increase, property tax increase at all. And in 2012, Mayor Craighead and the council did pass a 43% tax increase, and I think that was probably necessary. 6 years later, no tax increase, but I was presented with a 25 cent deficit in the budget. I cut $1.8 million. People say cut the waste. Well, I did. I cut $1.8 million out of the next year's expenditures. We were still short. And I asked the council to raise taxes 25 cents. Now, including that increase, which the council passed, property taxes in Lebanon have gone up just under 8 cents in 27 years. As much as I don't like tax increases, I'll say unnecessary tax increases, you can't run a government and not increase taxes occasionally. Now, we do have a healthy tax reserve, roughly $20 million, and it came in handy with the tornado. And there's nothing to say that we won't have another tornado or some catastrophe that calls for the use of that money. I believe that you don't use non-recurring funds, which would be our savings, on recurring expenses like salaries and different projects that you have to do, road maintenance on the roads and things like that. You should have tax money that covers those expenses. The non-recurring expenses are the non-recurring funds. The savings should be used for emergencies and opportunities, which the Mitchell House is a good example of an opportunity that came our way. We've had major growth problems at City Hall with overcrowding in City Hall. And we've had that overcrowding for several years now, and we've talked about it. Past administrations have talked about it, and this time we tried to do something about it. We were looking at the old Commerce Union Bank building on the square, which was going to cost us $1.8 million and another $1 million to repair it. That was not an outrageous amount of money. It was a fair amount of money, and we were looking at doing it when the owners of the Mitchell House came to me and said, we want to sell the Mitchell House. Would the city be interested in buying it? My first response was, I don't think so, because I thought it would be too much money. Well, the gentleman told me that we could get the building for around $1 million. So we set about making doing our due diligence. We sent our inspection department down there to check out the structure and make sure it was sound and ready to use. It was. Cracker Barrel had bought that building in '97 and spent over $2 million refurbishing it. So it was in very good shape. We bought the building for $1.15 million, and the council set aside $250,000, which is not a lot of money to work on an older building, but we took $250,000 and basically cleaned it up, redid the floors, painting. We replaced one of the columns on the outside of it. So now we have a beautiful building. We took the HR department, legal department, economic development, and the executive administrative offices and moved into that building. We cleared out 14 we moved 14 offices out of the town hall building into the Mitchell House. This opened up the third floor. We did some remodeling. It was so crowded that the inspection team, the whole team, had offices in the hallways upstairs. The other offices had two people working out of them in their small offices. So we solved the overcrowding, we preserved a historic building, and we saved $1.8 million. I think that was a good deal.
All right, with that, we got to take our break. Lebanon Mayor Bernie Ash is here and talking in support of his candidacy to be reelected mayor. Election today, of course. A break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:49. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitors pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's on the increase out here now, pretty much on schedule here. I-40 as we look at it live. Westbound here coming past the airport here at Donaldson Pike. Working an accident at Woodlawn Drive at 21st. It's over in the Belmont community. Also putting the final touches on a wreck. It's Briley Parkway near Murfreesboro Pike. Just busy out here where you would expect for this time of the morning. Hey, climb aboard the Redneck Comedy Bus Christmas Lights Tour for a fun-filled, festive adventure. For more information, just log on to redneckbus.com for all the fun details. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
This is Coleman Walker inviting you to join Judge Barry Tatum and me for live election coverage starting when the polls close at 7 p.m. on November 3rd. It's brought to you by A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, Burdine Supply, Designer Carpets, Partlow Funeral Chapel, Powell and Meadows Insurance, Steve Mull Plumbing, and the Wilson Post. Join us for live election coverage November 3rd starting at 7 p.m. on WANT FM 98.9 and WCOR AM 1490.
This is Ward 2 Lebanon City Council member Fred Burton asking for your vote November 3rd. Together, we are making a better Ward 2. We have made many improvements in the past, but there are still a need for more, including sidewalks, infrastructure, and road improvements. As we prepare for our new homes, we also need to address drainage throughout the city. You deserve quality representation on the City Council. I'm asking for your vote Fred Burton, Ward 2, on November 3rd. Paid for by the committee to elect Fred Burton.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
Vanderbilt Health is honored to announce the newest addition to our family of hospitals, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital in Lebanon. This hospital will provide care for Wilson County residents with the goal of improving the health and well-being of our newest community. Hospitals are for healing, new life, and recovery. They're places of innovation and learning. At the end of the day, hospitals are all about one thing: community. Thank you for welcoming us into yours. Let's do great things together.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. We now are in our final segment, of course, but Mayor Bernie Ash is here again, paying to be on this morning and solicit your vote in his quest to be mayor for 4 more years. Now, one of the things that, and you help me out here, if you will. We've got a situation where you have to have 50% plus one vote to be elected mayor. So a lot of people are saying there is, I think, a good possibility there could be a runoff between the top 2 vote getters. That's the way it would work, right?
Yes,
And you're already tired.
I am tired. I would not look forward to redoing this thing again in a few weeks. However it works out, though, we will do that. This has been, I think, a tight race, and I think it's probably, I may not should say this, it's probably between Rick Bell and myself. And he's done a great job campaigning. I've done the very best that I can campaigning, and I think, if anything, it's going to be a close race.
Well, there's been some other ideas about this, the way we treat. In fact, I just what Mr. Sesternino said the other day that we should give money back if the situation warrants and so on. I don't know whether you heard all of that. He's probably said it more than once. But if you want to, and we'll talk a little bit about, we've got roughly $20 million in our rainy day fund, our savings account. That much is set aside for emergencies. As far as there's been talk that we've got sidewalks that's got weeds in the sidewalks. We need to clean the city. You've heard all of this, and you've worked on it for 4 years here. What's your assessment?
Well, as far as the cleanliness of Lebanon, I think is campaign rhetoric. Honestly, I have stressed cleaning up Lebanon from day one. We have boosted up the codes department. We have torn down and condemned a lot of old houses that were nothing but crime-infested places, and we've taken care of a record number of those since I've been in office. Now, we've also tried to take care of our any litter that we have, grass problems. We started out with our maintenance department along with police and fire and everybody else, needed to be rebuilt, and we have been working on some of that. Of course, that costs money too, but Lebanon is a clean place and a good place to live. Yeah, do we have some issues with sidewalks? Yeah, sure we do, and we have spent a record amount of money rebuilding and adding sidewalks to Lebanon. We recently our grant writer has got us a $750,000 grant for sidewalks, which we will use. The state is also building sidewalks out near Kroger at no cost to the city, and we're using the money that we budgeted to take care of sidewalks. Also, I mentioned before, hired a traffic director. She came from Nashville, where she was in charge of the traffic lights, and she has made some changes. Kristen Rice is her name, has made some changes with our traffic lights to retime them. We're getting fiber optic cable for those so that they don't lose timing as much as they would. We are making a lot of changes. Some of the other things that we have done, something that has been discussed with the county and with the city before, is we need a recreation program, a sports program. Now, that's going to cost a lot of money, and we're not doing that right away. However, we have spent some money to purchase 150 acres out on 231 South. It's been set aside. I drove by there the other day. There's a sign out there that says future home of Lebanon's sports complex. We will start by putting the soccer teams out there. The soccer team, they have to be moved. They're at the airport now. They need the property, and it's a dangerous situation. So we're going to start building a soccer complex out there as soon as we can, as soon as it's reasonable. So
you feel the future of Lebanon is bright?
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got good people working at the city.
Do we have enough?
I won't say enough. We've worked hard to get the police and fire. Of course, that's our first objective, is make sure that we're safe. And I feel that we are. We may need a few more police and fire, and we will take care of that as the need arises. We need to concentrate on our recreation department and the public service, roads and places like that. They are shorthanded. We're trying to get them up to snuff. And we're making good progress with that.
There's been maybe a little criticism about not getting some things done fast enough, especially some of the forget what we call this, but our gateway to the city, the entrance out there. What's your response to that?
Well, I've learned, and I've known a long time, anything the government does is done very slowly. It grinds slow. But as far as the gateway, especially 231, not 231, but South Hartman Drive, we have added LED lights to the interstate out there, where you get off the interstate, which is making that brighter. We've added decorative lights on South Hartman Drive to make it look better. We have done a lot of things that one of the ordinances that I pushed through was to require only monument type signs on 231 South. That's instead of the big tall signs that go everywhere. Now we've got some out there that were grandfathered in, but any signs that go up with new businesses out that way will be the monument type signs, be down low.
Well, Bernie, we've come to about our last minute here today, so I guess it's time to wrap it up. 35% of registered voters have not voted. A lot of them will be voting today, and your message to them as we wrap it up here.
Okay, just go out and vote. Vote for Bernie Ash, please. And don't waste an opportunity, as so many people, 2/3 of the people in Lebanon have voted already, and that's great. So get out there and vote. Again, vote for Bernie Ash, and we will continue to grow and prosper as a city.
4 more years.
4 more years.
Well, thanks for being with us this morning. And again, Bernie's paying for the time here to be on. Again, today is our election day, of course, and we'll have results for you tonight starting at 7 o'clock. And Mayor, hope to see you out here tonight.
No, I hope so. I'll be out here win or lose.
All right, good deal. Well, that is going to do it for this Tuesday. And again, election returns tonight. Judge Tatum and I will be here along with the rest of our usual team. And we hope you'll join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. And until then, I wish you a terrific day.